Hiya. Sorry about the red pinkness. I'm sitting down and the light that I've got in this area of the flat is infrared heater, hence it's red and hence I'm red. But I don't know what to say, man. I'm totally. I mean, first of all, I'm aware my hat's all wonky. I put it on like this by mistake, but the way it's propping my eye. Rubbing my eye up and back ever so slightly. Just feels really comfortable. Yeah, I'm waiting for something to come to mind, and where I'm riding the waves is maybe that's what I do. It's just it's like my eyes are not quite accurate. There's something I've recognised as life, sobriety, being awake. My past, essentially. So that's what I see when I look through these eyes, but it's just not my eyes to my life right now. I don't know the levels of depression I'm in because my eyes haven't been truthful in a while. I've had these eyes and where I'm experiencing physical pain too, the eyes don't sync up. The depression doesn't sync up, the emotions don't sync up, nothing syncs up with the eyes except for pressure. And I'm aware that I'm experiencing like a lot of physical pain and pressure in the background, and it just takes a few more seconds to allow that situation to pass or settle than it otherwise would do. It's a bit easier today than the madness that was yesterday. At least this afternoon. And I think I just need to lie down and sleep for a couple of hours, wake up and start screaming again. that's where I kind of am at. But I'm clearing my flat, and I'm sorting through a load of stuff, and if anybody's in need of anything, please let me know, because I've got lots of stuff from therapy devices I haven't, more than anything, had a chance to really familiarise myself with, and where I'm moving, I'm trying to be ruthless, but I struggle, because it's like I'm sorting through stuff and I'm like, yeah, that's got value, that's got value, that's got value. So everything seems to be coming with me, but I'm going to be having a lot of clothes to clear out. I've got like a good decent blender that requires a replacement jug, some raw food stuff like that's appropriate for raw food preparation, raw fooders, from hemp powders and meat grinders that can be used for vegetables, obviously, and therapy couches, well, therapy couch, I'd hate to see it go to waste, and the one that's getting me more than anything is the salt Halo Therapy salt lamps. They're I bought a load of salt blocks, which are really good for I don't really know what it's good for. It's meant to do something with the oxygen in the air. Be therapeutic, really good for breathing. I've got it on the wall, and I've displayed it like a picture frame. So I put all the blocks in a rectangle and put like a bamboo frame around them, and it is really beautiful to have on the wall. But I'm moving on to a boat, and obviously salt and steel don't quite mix well with each other, and I'd hate to see it go to waste. I mean, there's something on that I really want to diverge, I don't know the right word, expand on. I'm gonna have to take a second to be able to do so. So growing up, one of the big things that stands out in my past is my visits to Cyprus to see my family, over there, my grandparents. And when I was there, I'd always my uncle Vladimir. He used to live, either with them or close by or next door. So I'd always see him, and I'd always see him because even if he wasn't there, living next door or with them, my grandparents' house got half converted into a studio where my uncle and his wife would practice their qigong, yoga, and after a while they put an extension on it where they could do like more alternative therapies. But it's a beautiful space that he made, and as I've said before, my uncle's been a big contributor in who I am. He's a big teacher and mentor in my life, and since my teens he's been like a guardian angel sitting on my shoulder. And I remember one time I went to the studio, and my uncle would sit in the instructor position, us would sit obviously where clients, paying students would sit opposite. And my uncle would give me a class of Qigong or yoga or whatever. And he'd also teach me, but he'd give me spiritual insights, like spiritual lessons. Not that I really recognised their importance at the time, but I didn't poo-poo them. I sat there and I took them in on whatever level I could. My uncle, the thing I respect most about my uncle is that he I don't want to say came to me, but obviously he how can I put it? When you're an adult, looking at a child now, you interact with them in a certain way. And for instance, my sister, I've interacted with her because she's been younger in different ways to myself over the course of my life. Like an adult would interacting with a child, they have a choice how to present themselves to that child, because the child doesn't understand what it means to be an adult. And the way my uncle always interacted with, except for one occasion, I'll tell you the little story in a second. It was always on the level of being my friend. And not only my friend on the level. So in other words, despite him sitting there teaching me Qigong, despite him sitting there giving me spiritual wisdom, Taoist teachings, his experiences of life, it was always on the level of a friend, and it was always on the level of, look, Andreas, not even that I see you, but I'm just you. I'm not going to put myself above you. And no other person in my life has ever done that, been on the level with me. I mean, I think there was one person, I think other than my uncle, there's been one person that I've had that experience with, but it doesn't come to mind now. And I was bullied at school. Even my really good friends from my teens, late teens, early 20s, there was friendship dynamics. We were individuals, and we didn't have to be a certain way for a child. So there would be jibes, there'd be little jokes, there'd be things like that. And I've never had that with a person that I'm your friend, I'm on the same level as you. But anyway, one day in that studio he asked me a question. And the question was, there's a spiritual master, and he has a painting. It was more of a story, actually. There's a spiritual master, and there's this beautiful painting. And he destroys it. I think it was almost like that he said it. And I can't remember if he asked for my reaction or I offered it because we were on the level. But either way, my reaction to that was, oh, you don't have to destroy it. give it away. And then I think he asked me, well, what'd you do with it? And I said, well, give it to somebody. And anyway, long story short, for whatever reason, the way that salt lamp heliotherapy is presented, it's like a beautiful picture. It just represents whatever he was talking about in the studio at that time, for whatever reason. And I'm trying to give it to somebody, anybody, because I know not only does it have beauty, but it has a very important practical use. And I fail to impart the wisdom of heliotherapy because I just trust in certain things, and I could trust in that. Salt is natural. It's a practice therapy. I did a little bit of research at the time and knew the Russians were using it back in the 70s and 80s, and that was pretty much good enough for me. But it sounds a bit like, well, that's a very quick decision to make, but yeah, it's a quick decision to make. But the way I look at the world and understand the world, it is a very important factor. How important, I don't know, but it's I get a good feeling, good intuition about the therapy. And it's on the wall, and I'm sorting out my flat, and I'm leaving it on the wall at the moment because I need to get my stuff out of here, and I need to move out ASAP. So it might be a case of I leave it on the wall, and if the builders come by when they come to renovate the flat for the next person, the builders take it, and they either keep it or they chuck it in the skip. But it just seems like this is representative of that conversation. And the quick story to add to it is the one and only time I remember my uncle, other than how I've described him just now, is when I was younger and going to Cyprus. I know I would have been about 14, 13 on one occasion, probably both occasions, and he was more like my dad. He was more very sharp, very easy to get annoyed. And I annoyed him one time when I went to see my godparents. My godparents are in Cyprus, and I never see them. And that's one of the requests I always used to have whenever we went to Cyprus. Can we see my godparents? I don't know if it's because they always used to give me money, or if I wanted to see them, but there was that one. One year I went over with my sister, just the two of us, which wasn't normal, and my uncle took us both to see my godparents instead of my actual parents. And my godparents gave me a cheque, and I remember opening it, and there's another story that's just popped to mind. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell you that one, but on the way back I opened it, and me and my sister were in the back of the car, and I was a little kid, man, and I was very easy to be very airy. I'm a Libran, and very anxious, and very emotional, so it wasn't a pleasant experience. Didn't sound nice when I spoke. And my sister knew me, and we was in the back of the car, and my uncle turned around and he shouted at me. He was really angry, and he goes, "How much is it for?" No, he asked me how much is it for, and I went, "Oh, it's a lot." And he goes, "I asked how much it was for, Andreas. I didn't." Yeah, it was along those lines. He wanted to know how much it was for. I said, "Oh, it was like, it's £50. And that's it. I was silent. But it just sticks in my mind. That's the only time I've known my uncle to put himself above. I mean, he's shouted at me on other occasions and told me off on other occasions, but it's when the relationship grew and I knew him on that level. So it was still from the perspective of I'm your friend and it's on the level. But on that occasion it was like, I'm your uncle, I'm your family, I'm authority. The other story I won't go into, but he's always been there, my uncle, like that, and he's always challenged me on the level. I might need to go for a walk just to get some air. Take care.